I want to move on to Ryan Day. Ryan is one of the great coaches in college football. I've said that for a long time. And I know that the narrative surrounding Ryan Day is always like, oh, he's coaching for his job. I think that's garbage. I really do. He's one of the great coaches in the sport. And now one of only, 3 guys that have actually won the national championship that is currently coaching in college football? Kirby Smart, Dabo Swinney, and now Ryan Day winning a national championship. And I don't know that there's another program, at least right now. Maybe throughout history, there's been pockets. Maybe we're going to enter a pocket with another guy I'll talk about later. But I don't think that there's another program that has higher expectations of their coach than Ohio State. This has been talked about over the last few weeks, at length. Ryan is expected to win every single game he plays. In a lot of circles, he's not only expected to win every game that they play, but they're also expected to cover in every game that they play. And that's it. And that's just the standard. And anything below that, there's speculation on his job. So it doesn't matter that he's basically the most successful coach from a winning percentage standpoint. No. It just matters like that standard. And I'm not going to sit here and tell fans that you're wrong for your standard. I don't think that that's right either. Listen, part of what makes Ohio State special as a program, and special in the terms of they don't have down eras, is the standard. And in a lot of ways, the fans drive that standards. That's the expectation of the 100,000 in the seats and the millions around the country and world that are Buckeye fans. The standard is greatness. The standard is win every game. That's what they feel like they should be able to do. That's their standard. And they know it. Speaking of the coaching staff, Urban Meyer knew it. Ryan Day knows it. Ryan's not trying to run away from the standard. He's trying to meet the standard, and it's not for the faint of heart, and if you've seen Urban Meyer's clip out there, I agree with him. It's a job that you go in and you got to swing at every single day. And it's so funny that that's the language that they use and Ryan uses specifically in terms of you just got to go in there and you got to swing and you got to fight, because that's what it tends to be. And I will just tell you this, like, Ryan's a really classy guy. He's got great character. He operates with integrity. He has always been great to us and gracious with us when we go in and cover his team. I considered him to be one of the guys that I would lean on in coaching circles, because listen, you cover all of these guys and at times, like, there are things that you want to bounce off of them as well. And Ryan's always one of those guys with me. I'm happy for him. It just is what it is. This guy does it the right way. And I'm happy that he was able to go out there and fulfill what I know was his desire for his team. He never would talk to us about, or me personally, about like what it would mean for him. He talked about two groups of people, his family at home and his players in the locker room. And he always talked about them like almost as equals. And that's what he cared about, and that's what he operated for. And so to see that come out, and he touched on this in his post-game interview as well, but to see him come out of that and win a national championship, knowing what he dealt with, I think is really awesome. Now, what are the things that make him elite? Well, we knew he was an elite offensive coach and an elite offensive play caller. However, I tell you what becomes even more impressive to me is when somebody will correctly view a situation and make an adjustment that doesn't necessarily seem like the most obvious adjustment. His superpower was calling plays. He was one of the great play callers in college football and really in football. I loved watching the film of him call plays, his rhythm and his feel for what defenses were going to do and when to take shots and so on and so forth. It was uncanny and it was really brilliant. He's a very smart guy. And yet, as a head coach, he had the wherewithal to kind of see this idea where I'm going to take a step back from my superpower, and I'm going to give those powers up to a guy that I trust. First, Bill O'Brien, then Bill O'Brien goes to Boston College, then he hires Chip Kelly, who he's got a lengthy history with. And he's like, I'm going to be a better coach even without my superpower, which is calling plays. And you know what? That was the key difference in this season. I don't think Ohio State gets through all the adversity that they were able to get through unless Ryan Day can be the CEO. Just very quickly, if he's calling plays, he doesn't have the opportunity to sit down with the defensive coaches after the Oregon game and really go through the switches necessary, both schematically and philosophically, of how to make the defense better. Because the defense post the Oregon loss was excellent. Best defense in the country. And they changed some things. And I've gone over that in previous shows, so I don't have to go through it at length here. Real briefly, they changed the way that they rushed the quarterback. They changed the structure and the way that they got Caleb Downs involved on more plays through aligning him in the middle of the field. All of those things were a lot better in the back half of the year. He doesn't have that opportunity if he's calling plays and game planning as an offensive coordinator. So that's one switch. Secondly, I think the ability to identify and change what was going on the offensive side after the Michigan game. That only happens if you're a CEO. The ability to go out and get those players to come back, get them to commit to come back and build the roster, get Jeremiah Smith to commit and stay committed at Ohio State, to have the conversations with Caleb Downs and Will Howard. He built the roster. That is the number one skill of a head football coach in our sport, is to build the roster, talent acquisition. And he did that. And I don't think that he can do it as effectively if he's worrying about calling plays all the time. And so this idea to give up your superpower and to take more of a CEO role and to do that as well as he did in the first year that he attempted it speaks volumes for him, man. And a big hand for that decision, and then for everybody for going along with some of the changes that they made during the course of the season. And then to sit there and get that team ready to go out there and play after that Michigan loss, I'll tell you what, that was some coaching job. That was some coaching job by Ryan Day.
Thank you for watching the Joel Klatt Show YouTube channel. And if you liked this clip, make sure to like it and subscribe to the channel, and you can stay up to date on all of my college football coverage.